At the beginning of the story, we see an SUV driving on a deserted country road. Suddenly, the car's tire bursts, causing the vehicle to go out of control and come to a stop. Inside the car were 6 friends: Todd, his girlfriend Sarah, Jody, Karen, Jeff, and Eric. They were on their way to surprise Jody's sister at her birthday party. Fortunately, they had a spare tire. They got out of the car and started looking around. The place was completely deserted, with no sign of any settlements or vehicles as far as the eye could see. Sarah took out her phone, snapped a selfie, and tried to post it on social media, but there was no network at their location. However, just a little ahead, there was some network coverage, meaning that connectivity was available in certain spots but not everywhere. Jeff started changing the tire while the scorching sun forced Jody, Karen, Sarah, and Todd to take shelter on one side of the car. Meanwhile, Eric walked a little ahead to relieve himself. Jeff was just about to tighten the lug nuts after changing the tire when, suddenly, the tire started rolling downhill on its own. Jeff quickly ran to grab it, and as soon as he did, a bullet fell from inside the tire onto the road. This meant that the tire hadn't burst on its own. Someone had intentionally shot at it to make it explode. However, Jeff ignored this and continued changing the tire. Meanwhile, on the other side of the car, the 4 friends were chatting. Eric was also returning to the car after finishing his business when suddenly they heard a noise from the other side of the vehicle. At the same time, the tire started rolling downhill again. Seeing this, Todd ran to grab the tire while Sarah went to check on Jeff. As soon as she saw him, she froze in terror. Jeff had been brutally shot in the head and killed. Sarah was so terrified that she couldn't even scream. Just then, another bullet hit her. Moments later, Todd arrived with the tire, only to find Sarah lying there with a bullet wound in her eye. Karen and Jody also saw Sarah's condition. With a trembling hand, Sarah reached out toward Todd, silently pleading for help. But before anyone could react, another bullet struck her and she collapsed on the spot. Everything was happening so fast that no one could comprehend what was going on. But Karen quickly realized that someone was hiding and shooting at them. She screamed for everyone to take cover behind the car. Karen and Jody ran and hid behind the vehicle. Todd also tried to run toward them, but unfortunately, he was hit by a bullet in the shoulder. Eric, on the other hand, couldn't make it to the car in time. He somehow managed to hide behind a dried-up tree for cover. The sniper kept firing continuously, but none of them could figure out where the shots were coming from. By this time, they had realized that the sniper had deliberately shot their car's tire to trap them there. Karen came from a military family, so she understood that the sniper had initially been using a suppressor on their rifle, which is why there had been no gunshot sound. There was no network at their location to call for help, and the car wasn't drivable since the lug nuts on the spare tire hadn't been tightened yet. They were unsure of what to do next when suddenly a noise came from the other side of the car. Todd looked over and saw that Sarah was still alive. She was writhing in pain, but he wasn't in a position to help her. A few moments later, Sarah took her final agonizing breath. Seeing this, Todd was devastated, blaming himself for not being able to save her. Hours passed, yet not a single vehicle had appeared on that road. Todd was growing weaker due to the bullet wound in his shoulder. Eric suggested that they all run into the forest at once because the shooter wouldn't be able to target everyone simultaneously. However, the risk was too high. Someone would definitely end up dead, so no one agreed with Eric's plan. Jody, on the other hand, believed that sooner or later, a vehicle would pass through and stop after noticing the 2 dead bodies on the road. Karen pointed out that there was network coverage a little further from the car. Hearing this, Todd attached his phone to a selfie stick, activated voice control, and raised it high. As soon as the phone was extended further away, it picked up a signal. Karen immediately shouted, "Dial 911!" But just then, the sniper shot the phone, destroying it. A few moments later, Todd came up with an idea. If they could shift the car into neutral, they could push it back slightly to reach the area with network coverage. However, they quickly realized that the car was on a downward slope, meaning if they put it in neutral, it would roll forward instead of backward. Despite the risk, they had to try something to survive. Karen removed her hoodie and placed it on the selfie stick to distract the sniper. Meanwhile, Eric and Jody started recording with their phones to determine where the sniper was shooting from. As the sniper began firing at the moving hoodie, Todd seized the opportunity. He quickly ran to the car, managed to insert the key, but couldn't shift it to neutral in time. However, by analyzing the recorded video, they finally identified the sniper's location. The shooter was hiding behind a tree some distance away, with their rifle set up and aimed at them. Todd was determined to put the car in neutral at any cost. That's when he noticed a toolbox in the back of the car. Taking a huge risk, he rushed toward the toolbox and successfully retrieved it. He then tore off the metallic lid, wrapped it around his arm with tape, and created a makeshift shield. Karen grabbed a hammer and a lighter from the toolbox. Meanwhile, Eric had no idea about their plan. He thought the 3 of them were planning to escape and leave him behind. Now Todd instructed Karen and Jody to get ready. They prepared themselves to push the car backward as soon as it was shifted to neutral. Todd goes back inside the car. Fortunately, this time, he manages to shift the gear to neutral, but in the process, another bullet hits his hand. Unfortunately, the car starts rolling forward due to the slope. No matter how hard Karen and Jody try, they are unable to stop it. In the struggle, Jody loses her grip on the car and falls. A few moments later, the car's tire comes off, causing it to come to a stop. Surprisingly, the shooter fires shots around Jody but does not directly aim at her. Suddenly, the gunfire stops. Karen immediately realizes that the sniper might be reloading, so she shouts at Jody to get inside the car. Hearing this, Eric also tries to run towards the forest, but the sniper shoots both of his legs one after the other, making him collapse to the ground. Now he was completely unable to walk. In reality, the sniper wasn't reloading. They had intentionally stopped firing to lure Eric out. By now, the group had figured out that the sniper was merely toying with them. Karen tells Eric to remove his belt and tie it around his leg to slow down the bleeding. She then heats the hammer with a lighter and presses it against Todd's wound. Todd screams in pain, but the cauterization helps reduce the bleeding. Hours pass. The scorching heat is taking a toll on them. They are growing weaker, exhausted, hungry, and dehydrated. Todd notices a bottle of water in the back seat of the car. Somehow they manage to retrieve it. They each take small sips before tossing the remaining water toward Eric. Eric, struggling, reaches out to grab the bottle and tries to drink. But just then, the sniper fires at Eric's hand, causing him to drop the bottle. He lets out a cry of pain, now suffering even more. Meanwhile, the sniper, sitting comfortably at a distance, sips water and casually eats. Todd then notices crows pecking at Sarah's corpse, tearing off pieces of flesh. The sight sickens him. He tells Karen and Jody that he and Sarah were about to get married soon. By now, Todd had lost all hope. He had loved Sarah dearly, and now he no longer cared whether the sniper shot him or not. With that thought, Todd walks toward Sarah's body. Surprisingly, the sniper does not shoot at him. Todd reaches Sarah, gently covers her bullet-ridden eye with his shirt, holds her hand, and sits beside her. Meanwhile, Eric is on the brink of death. At that moment, a wild wolf approaches him. However, before the wolf can do anything, Eric takes his final breath and dies. Just then, Todd notices a car approaching from the distance. Hope flickers in his eyes as he slowly gets up, but the sniper fires warning shots around him, forcing him to step back. Realizing he has no choice, Todd returns to Sarah and sits beside her once more. The loud gunshots scare away the wolf, and then, without hesitation, the sniper shoots Todd in the chest, killing him mercilessly. Meanwhile, the approaching car carries a family, a father, mother, and their young daughter. As they drive closer, they notice an abandoned vehicle on the road and lifeless bodies nearby. Before they can react, the sniper fires at the mother's hand, causing their car to lose control and flip over. Despite the crash, the family survives. The mother, injured and disoriented, desperately crawls out of the car, searching for her daughter. Seeing this, Karen told her not to move forward, but just then, the sniper shot and killed her. After that, the father also got out of the car. However, he listened to Karen and hid behind the vehicle. Karen told him to call 911 because there was network coverage in that area. The father quickly pulled out his phone and started dialing 911. At that moment, the sniper kept shooting at the car's fuel tank. As a result, the vehicle exploded and the father was burned to death. Meanwhile, on the side of the road, the daughter was injured. She barely managed to stand up, but before she could do anything, the shooter shot her in the head, killing her mercilessly. Now only Karen and Jody were left, but even they had lost all hope of survival. Jody said, "We can try escaping into the forest at night." Karen replied, "The sniper has night vision. He will shoot us down." Just then, her eyes fell on the burning car. Seeing this, she got an idea: to use the smoke, just like soldiers use smoke grenades, to escape into the darkness. Now at night, we see the sniper keeping watch with night vision goggles. Meanwhile, Karen and Jody cut open a tire using a knife and took out pieces of rubber. Then they ripped apart the car's back seat and placed the tire pieces inside before setting the car on fire. As a result, thick smoke began to rise. Now they were preparing to escape into the forest, but just then, they saw a police car approaching them. This meant that before dying, the father had successfully called 911 and informed them of the situation. Inside the police car were 2 sheriffs and 2 sharpshooters. However, they still had no idea about the sniper's exact location. After assessing the situation, the sheriff requested backup from the state police. At that moment, the sniper shot the sheriff sitting in the driver's seat. As the sheriff's foot pressed against the accelerator, the police car suddenly sped forward. Due to the sudden movement, one of the sharpshooters fell out of the Jeep. The sniper immediately shot him in the head, killing him. Seizing this opportunity, Karen told Jody to run with her, but Jody hesitated. She couldn't gather the courage to run. Seeing this, Karen started running alone. Unfortunately, after covering some distance, she stepped out of the smoke. Now the sniper had a clear view of her. Still, Karen ran as fast as she could, but before she could get too far, the sniper shot her in the head, killing her as well. Meanwhile, the sheriff managed to stop the police car near Jody. Jody quickly took cover behind the police vehicle. She urged the sheriff to leave the area immediately, but he refused. They started shooting toward the sniper's location continuously, but not a single bullet hit him. Within moments, the sniper shot and killed both officers. Now Jody was the only survivor. Finally, she gathered her courage, got into the police car, and drove straight toward the sniper at full speed. The sniper kept shooting at her. During this, one bullet struck her shoulder, but somehow she dodged the other bullets and drove the car straight into the tree where the sniper was positioned. As a result, the sniper fell from the tree and got caught in his own rope, hanging midair. The sniper's rifle had fallen to the ground. Seizing the opportunity, Jody successfully picked it up. The sniper cut the rope and dropped to the ground, immediately attacking Jody with a knife. He believed that Jody wouldn't be able to use the rifle. However, she fired multiple shots at him, causing the sniper to collapse on the spot. He was still alive though. Seeing this, she aimed at his head to finish him off, but on the last shot, the rifle jammed. Realizing this, she flipped the rifle and relentlessly struck the sniper's head, smashing it beyond recognition and finally killing him in a gruesome manner. At that moment, Jody noticed multiple tally marks carved into the sniper's rifle. From this, she understood that he had killed many travelers who had passed through that road. He was a psychotic killer who murdered people just for fun. Among the tally marks, Jody also found the names of her friends. Seeing this, rage consumed her. In a fit of fury, she struck the already dead killer's head with the rifle once again. Just then, the jammed rifle suddenly fired. The bullet hit Jody directly in the neck. As a result, she died a painful death. And with this, the movie ends.